Well, good evening, everyone. It's about 5:30 local time. We're here in Classic WoW. I'm remaking my Troll Hunter that I made ages ago. You'll notice I do have a number of different things here. I want to talk a little bit today about why I like Classic better than Battle for Azeroth, and it doesn't boil down just to some of the imbalance issues with Azerite. I'm not going to go into that. Some of those problems are not the primary issue. I'm just going to go ahead and take a second to set some things up here while I talk. But essentially, a lot of it has to do with a lot of the things they've added to the game have made it, sure, easier to play. They certainly have made it a lot more accessible to the average player and to casual players, and that's fine. But in doing so, they have they've added a whole lot of unnecessary things that make it too easy. You can't just play a game and explore. You have arrows that point your way and all that. I'm not a huge fan. We're gonna turn. We'll leave that on for now. Chat style classic. So there are a few things that they've kept. And we're going to go skinning and leather working on this guy because of course we do. We're a hunter. Let's go ahead and put auto shot there. Let's put a throw attack there. I don't know why. We'll put Rapid Strike there because reasons. I just need to check my key bindings as well. So we got a multi-action bar. Let's see. Now this is messing with my pet bar. Okay. Alright, now we've got those available. We're going to go talk to this guy.
Graw. May your blades never dull.
So I notice a lot of the things are, well, the models are the old ones. A lot of it's nostalgia,
Blood and thunder.
if I'm honest. This came out back in...
Go forth to victory.
And I gotta check and take a look at where the quest goes. This is one thing I do like. You actually have to read your quest log. Kill 10 modeled boars. Alright. Let's go do that. So things I like about Classic WoW over BfA. 1. Stat items. Notice, Worn Axe. Potential for a couple of things. To give us stat sticks. Boosts for a whole bunch of things that oh, and also there's a dead zone. I had forgot about that. Yay, one board down. We do have a chest item. We don't have any chest items, so we're going to go ahead and equip that. Notice that I can equip cloth. Hooray. There's a ragged cloak. So Battle for Azeroth, it's real nice. It's shiny. But it doesn't seem to have the feel, just the sheer feel of being able to explore and discover new things. Sure, it has places you can discover. But it does not have places you can discover that actually are
I need a target.
difficult to find, so to speak. There'll always be for quests some sort of arrow pointing the way, or there might be an area that it points you to. It also points you to your quest people. You'll also notice there's no tracking for any of the harvestables. And I want to say I can't get skinning unless I go all the way out to the main area there, which I may do. Things that are annoying about WoW are, say, the quiver. This carries my arrows. It's an extra bag that hunters get. Largely, we have to deal with the fact that we lose an entire bag slot for arrows. And not everybody's all about that. Let's move this over to 3 for now. Got mail, which we can't wear till level 30. Also, you can see my quiver. Other things I like about Classic over BfA, there's actual skills to level, not just your item level, not just your character level, but actual skills. And these are weapon skills. You can see I do have a number of things here. Let's see, let's pull up, where is it? Racials are also better. Beast slaying, extra 5% damage versus beasts. That's all beasts in the game. Some bosses do count. Berserking, super handy. There's a cooldown. It's a 3-minute DPS cooldown. We got extra bow skill, which that's 5 points that we don't have to level. We've got regeneration. Basically, 10% of my health regen continues during combat regardless. That's a nice thing that we got. Also, we don't notice we don't have Beast Mastery yet. We actually have to go learn that and tame an animal. We've also got our skills. Here we are. So you notice we got weapon skills. Now if I pick up a new bow, or say I pick up a gun, and it's a really good gun, you notice I don't actually have any skill in that. So it won't function for me. I'll miss a whole bunch. And a lot of people don't like that. I do, because it means you actually have to pay attention to what you're getting. You can't just slap a new piece of gear in there and run around. You actually have to care about what your character's skills are at. If I'm sounding a little tired, it's because I am. So my commentary may be a little more lacking than normal. But some of it may be I just like having more numbers to see go up. I also get more of a sense of progress. When I get a brand new item that I can't use, I then have to run around and use a lower version of that item in order to gain the necessary skill to use the weapon. Which, to me, makes a lot of sense. If I'm someone who's been, up till now, running around with, say, a sword, and someone gives me a hammer, hammer's going to function differently. I like that. It's a little bit of realism in my fantasy. Also, I need to check what time it is Alright, so there's about 8 hours, 4 to 8 hours of the stress test left. There we go. Oh, I've already killed all the boars that we need to. Notice we do also have mana.
I don't have a target.
And there is kind of an arcane sort of build for the hunter, but I have to actually remember more or less where I picked up the quest. I have to know where the person is to turn it in. Notice clicking on it doesn't bring up the quest window. Guy's over there, by the way. You actually have to click on the icon in the bar. Killing vile familiars. That'll give me a hatchet. It'll be slightly more melee damage. Not that that matters a whole bunch.
Strength and honor.
Get some new gloves.
Go with honor. What do you need?
Get a couple more quests here.
Dabu.
And I believe we may have to go back in here for something else. Also notice I have a limited number of arrows. You can get some other ones. And you can buy better ones. You can buy bullets. And you can actually swap them out.
Talk to me. Stay away from the voodoo.
It's a good warning there, lady. Other thing I like about classic WoW over at BfA, or really most modern World of Warcraft,
Be safe.
is resistances. They actually mean something. They exist for one, and they actually mean something. If you have some points into arcane resist, this is something that went away after. I want to say it went away in Cataclysm. Elemental resistances kind of went out the window, and I'm not entirely sure why they made that decision. I don't recall what the reasoning was at the time, but it's one that I don't like because you have resistance against abilities of a certain level. And if you have a bunch of, say, shadow resist, that actually will matter. Shadow will do appreciably less damage to you. Not enough to make you tanky if you're not a tank, but enough to make a difference in terms of how easy it is for your healers to keep up with the ongoing damage and that sort of thing. I think this is not it. I think what I need is over here. So let's see, resistance is the only stats that matter for a hunter are really agility. That's it. Stamina kind of matters, but not all that much. Just gotta find the den, and I don't remember where it is. So we're just going to wander around. You know, I could just look at my quest log. Ah, okay, so the den is the Burning Blade Coven. Well, fair enough. Another thing I like about Classic over BfA is the PvP is much more rock, paper, scissors. If you are, say, a hunter, paladins will wreck you. But as a hunter, most casters, especially if you get, say, Broken Tooth, are pretty helpless against you. Not entirely so. There are plenty of things that they can do, and especially if they get the drop on you. But if they don't get the drop on you, they're probably not going to win if you're halfway decent. There's a Vile Familiar. That's what we need to kill. We'll get this guy here soon enough. Gotta use this more frequently. There we go. Missing is also a thing. Probably gonna need to heal up. I might actually die here. That's another thing too, is even at low level, you are at risk of dying if you don't pay attention. That's something that's really not the case in modern WoW. And something I think that takes away from the experience of leveling, in that there's very little actual risk whenever you're leveling a character in BfA or in other current WoW content. So he's immolated. That's an interesting choice for him. We got another level. That's good. And you'll notice you'll get some increases in your stats, but also you get some increases in some of your other ragged leather bracers, huh? Let's get rid of these.
Inventory is full.
Get some shoes. Got more of these to kill. Things also respawn a lot more slowly. And while many might not like that, while it might make it downright inconvenient at times, I do like that I don't run into a situation where I'm wandering around somewhere and I've managed to kill everything off and survive by the skin of my teeth, only to have everything respawn moments later. That's something about current WoW content that I cannot abide. So your chance to hit a target is dependent on the weapon skill of the weapon you're using, which means until I have, oh, and also your weapon skills are capped at a certain point, dependent on your level. So right now, I believe most skills are capped at 15. my racial that gives me +5 in bows and thrown weapons, which, believe it or not, is a thing.
I can't carry any more.
It increases not just the actual level, but the possible amount I can raise it to. But it's really handy at lower levels. Tend to miss a lot less. And we'll just keep running around until we find the rest of these Vile Familiars. I also like that there's not an absolute glut of skills. One of the things that... Oh, he's inside my dead zone, which is about 8 yards out. I also like that about hunters. If you're using a bow and someone gets in close to you, there's not nearly as much as you can do, realistically speaking. And I like that hunters have to resort to melee. If a melee enemy can stay in melee range of a hunter, there's not much the hunter can do.
Inventory is full.
Oh, I kind of messed that up. This is going to be a shorter stream. Partly because this is more of a little bit more of an explanation or a rant than it is a play session.
I need a target. I can't carry any more.
Frayed cloak. Better than the ragged cloak. Let's get rid of that ragged cloak. You also don't automatically stand up for a lot of things anymore.
Inventory is full.
There we go.
I can't carry any more.
Small brown pouch. It's a 6-slot bag. Now notice, we can't do anything with it.
Inventory is full.
Let's go ahead and drop these. Let's go ahead and drop our spring water. And then we're going to move that there. We're going to move our bow ammo. Yeah, our arrows. All the way over there. Just so we can differentiate between which one is which. Another thing I like about Classic WoW, as opposed to BfA, is that there's a limitation of certain skills. You don't have the... There are distinct... Oh, excuse me. There are distinct differences between the classes and the factions. That's something that I really like. If you are a shaman, no, I don't want to do it right now. There we go. But there's actual distinctiveness between the classes. Things aren't different, just flavor mixed. Time Warp, Bloodlust, Heroism. Those are all the same thing. Primal Rage, Drums. None of that silliness. There's Bloodlust. Oh, that's right. Bloodlust isn't in Classic. I tend to forget that. Oh, there's other things about Classic that are better than BfA. Shamans can wield two-handed weapons. If you're an enhanced shaman, you can use a big old two-hander. Something that is sorely missed, at least by me and others like me. The longer I sit here and think about it, the more things I miss. Things I don't miss are things like paladins not being able to tank. But aside from that, and a few other very minor things, I'd much prefer Classic to the current implementation of World of Warcraft. Oh, yeah. Oh, also swimming, I believe, is a separate skill. I don't remember whether it was. There was another game in which it was, and that might be EverQuest I'm thinking of, if I'm honest. But I remember back when World of Warcraft first came out, it was sometime after Warcraft 3 had been out. And honestly, completely forgot what I was going to say. I have absolutely no idea what I was going to say. I am apparently a lot more tired than I thought. I think what I'm going to do, in the interest of actually being able to be coherent, is I'm going to pause the stream for the time being and just come back to it when I am more well rested. I'm going to take a nap, might play a little bit in a couple hours. There's only about 4 hours left, but if I take a little bit of a nap, I should be able to play some more later. Maybe on this guy, maybe on the no mages. After that, probably some kind of stream tomorrow with either Rust or Path of Exile with the new Legion League. But yeah, those are just a few reasons why I like Classic better than Battle for Azeroth and most of the intermediate steps between those. It just feels like a more, maybe not well-rounded, but as you level, because it takes longer and because there's different skills involved in it. Well, I'm gonna have to kill this guy then. It feels like something's actually been gained. Oh, that's another thing. Gear. Goodness, you don't start getting green gear until you're into it a little bit. When you get your first shoulders, it's an actual event. When you get your first epic, it's an actual big deal. If you see someone running around in all purple gear, it's an actual important thing. It indicates that they have the time and the skill necessary to obtain those. Not, well, they've put a little bit of time into it, as it is now. All that said, I'm looking forward to the next stress test in, I think it's mid-July. And then when it comes out in August, I'll definitely be streaming that. Not in place of the regular WoW stream. And there goes my dog barking. Not in place of it, but in addition. Probably one of the couple of WoW streams. We might kick it up to 3 streams a week at that point. But I do hope everybody enjoyed listening to me rant for a little bit. And hopefully I'll be back later with a little more classic WoW. If not, then we'll hope you'll join me on Saturday or other time this weekend for another stream. Or next Tuesday when I resume streaming some more Rust. Thank y'all for watching, and I'll see y'all later.